Wouldn't be worried if Russell Wilson can't go because Justin Fields has taken an opportunity here and been able to take advantage of it and keep improving. I'll get to Fields in a second. Not today to practice again. No pads, no helmet. Did have his hat on.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my favorite time of the year. It's training camp, which means we get to overanalyze grainy training camp footage of our favorite teams. No, this is seriously going to be me for the next couple of weeks. And to be honest, I prefer this type of content over the stuff that we were making in the earlier part of July. So if you guys have any requests for any QB battles you want me to do a deep dive on, let me know in the comment section down below. We're still going to be giving away copies of College Football 25 on my Instagram and Twitter. This is the last week we're going to be doing it. Links in the description down below if you guys want a copy of College Football 25. And now that we got all that out of the way, work! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? I know this is gonna sound pretty interesting, but the Pittsburgh Steelers have their most promising quarterback room since the mid-2010s, when Ben Roethlisberger was still under center and he certainly wasn't washed anymore. And the way that the Pittsburgh Steelers did this was very unorthodox. Russell Wilson got released despite not even playing a single snap for the Denver Broncos under his 5-year, $245 million contract, which means that he had the luxury of signing a veteran minimum contract with any team in the NFL, and he still would get compensated a significant amount of money. And at the same time, the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't want to fully put all of their eggs in the Russell Wilson basket, so they traded a 6th round pick for Justin Fields, who in my opinion has been very solid for the Chicago Bears, but clearly could work on some of his mechanics and honestly has the potential to develop into a really solid quarterback in the league if he's brought along a little bit more slowly. But at the same time, people believe that Justin Fields is ready to start right away. Regardless, Pittsburgh Steelers are very excited about their quarterback room. I mean, just listen to what Broderick Jones had to say about it.
Both of those guys are like really competitive. It's no secret. Both of them are fighting for a starting job. But I feel like Justin being able to be with Russ, and Russ been doing it, that he's been doing it for so long, and just Justin being still a young raw player and learning from an older vet like that, I feel like it'll help him in the long run. I feel like his skill level will go to the next level. Just made the best man win. Both were really good guys. I love them both. I spend time with both of them. So
now this brought us to one of our most entertaining training camp battles in the entire NFL, because Justin Fields isn't a terrible quarterback by any means. The Chicago Bears just got a remarkable opportunity to upgrade. At the very minimum, they got to reset the clock with their quarterback contract with Caleb Williams. And I don't think that was anything against Justin Fields. It's just when you could get a quarterback that is going to be an even better quarterback, or at least we presume is going to be a better quarterback, who has a higher ceiling potentially, who at the very minimum will get you 5 years at an undervalued contract, it just swings your Super Bowl window wide open. So I can't really blame the Chicago Bears for the decision that they made. And I don't think that's a reflection on Justin Fields as a quarterback. It was just an opportunity that the Bears just couldn't pass up. Russell Wilson's situation's a little bit more unique. I mean, I like to liken Russell Wilson's situation more to Carson Wentz's final year with the Indianapolis Colts. Because if you guys remember, in that season, Carson Wentz statistically wasn't a bad player at all. In 2021, Wentz threw for 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, over 3,500 passing yards. The problem was, situationally, he was not the greatest quarterback. Obviously, the final game of the season for the Indianapolis Colts was essentially a playoff game. You had to beat the worst team in the NFL, and you get to play in the playoffs. And Carson Wentz choked in that game. Eventually, he would get traded to Washington, and now he's a backup for Patrick Mahomes. In the case of Russell Wilson, it's very difficult to grade him because in year one, he had Nathaniel Hackett as a head coach. And if you guys remember how disastrous that was, fans literally had to count down the play clock in order to help the Denver Broncos.
with the fans counting down the play clock. Wilson stumbles.
Well, last year, the Denver Broncos got Sean Payton in order to save Russell Wilson, and it kind of worked, to be honest. Russell Wilson started cooking again. He had a 66.4% completion percentage. He threw for over 3,000 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. He wasn't terrible by any means. I mean, the Denver Broncos had a 7-8 record with him under center before Sean Payton decided to bench him completely. And there was a huge question why Sean Payton would do that. It seemed like from the very beginning, Sean Payton had it out for Russell Wilson. I personally am of the belief that Sean Payton wanted to bring on his own guy, and he felt like Bo Nix may be the next coming of Drew Brees. So I'm assuming that's the main reason why Denver Broncos decided to cut Russell Wilson. Now, this brings on a $53 million cap hit for Russell Wilson this season. It counts for 20.5% of the salary cap for the Broncos, and you could expect the Broncos not to be super competitive this year as a result of it. But in the case of the Pittsburgh Steelers, we have this very unique situation where the 14-year-old veteran Russell Wilson is going up against Justin Fields, who is going into his 4th season. Now, coming into training camp, the presumed starter was going to be Russell Wilson all along. And the philosophy was that now that Russell Wilson has a competent head coach in Mike Tomlin, solid wide receivers and tight ends like George Pickens and Pat Freiermuth, a solid rushing attack with Jalen Warren and Najee Harris. Najee Harris let's just say Jalen Warren. And who could forget the Pittsburgh Steelers' greatest strength? This team is one of the best defensive teams in the NFL when they're fully healthy, boasting stars like TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and in the offseason, they went ahead and poached Patrick Queen from their division rival Baltimore Ravens. Russell Wilson is in the situation to potentially lead this team to the playoffs, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are in a situation to shock a lot of teams, although they're in the most competitive division in football. You saw what happened to the AFC North last year. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have to compete with the Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens, and the Cincinnati Bengals to either win the division or for a wild card spot. But for Russell Wilson, his season hasn't started in the way that he hoped. Russ apparently got injured during a sled push drill, which caused him to have a calf injury. Now, I don't know whose genius idea it was to have Russell Wilson doing sled push drills, but this caused a calf injury, and this threw a wrench in the plans of the Pittsburgh Steelers, at least for training camp.
Taking mental reps, and he's trying to stay in it as much as he possibly can. But right now, not practicing. My understanding, going to get another evaluation tomorrow, and then they'll see where he can go from that. But I did mention Justin Fields, and my understanding is players and coaches around here feel like he's continuing to improving and taking the opportunity to get those reps that Russell Wilson isn't taking away from him. And I keep saying this, once we get to the preseason, we know what Justin Fields can do in a game. Even if it's not with his arm, it's with his legs. It's some sensational plays, and that could make this thing really interesting depending on how long it takes Russell Wilson to get back into action.
Which means Justin Fields gets first-team snaps with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's been remarkable with the first team. Throughout the first couple of days of camp, all you're seeing is Justin Fields throwing dot after dot after dot, including a 50-yard bomb down the sideline to Van Jefferson. And this is very significant. Look at how Russell Wilson reacts to Justin Fields dominating throughout his absence.
Every play is going against a really good defense. So every day, there's some really great plays, and there's some plays that he responds, back to, and this and that. So it's just that's the part of practice, and he's doing a good job. He's a really good competitor. He processes it well.
Now, ultimately, what am I getting to here? Well, there is some momentum of Justin Fields potentially starting as the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback to start the regular season. So, rumors, Steelers QB Justin Fields has been having a good training camp, and the team is open-minded to the possibility of him being the team's starting QB per ESPN. Now, originally, Mike Tomlin has been saying that the starter was without a doubt going to be Russell Wilson, but if Justin Fields is coming in and he's dominating to this level, then obviously it's going to change some stuff. Now, regardless, Mike Tomlin so far hasn't given any indication that Justin Fields is going to be the starting QB. And this is probably because there needs to be some semblance of stability for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You don't want to be a head coach like Jeff Fisher, who said Kerry Collins was his team's starting QB until he started playing terribly and then Vince Young could go in. You don't want to give your quarterback the idea that the moment he messes up, he's going to get replaced. There needs to be stability at the QB position position. And if you guys remember, going all the way back to March, Mike Tomlin said that Russell Wilson has pole position for the Steelers QB job, meaning that it was Russell Wilson's job to lose. And even after Justin Fields dominating in training camp, Mike Tomlin says that nothing has changed. And to be fair, it really shouldn't have changed anyway. I mean, the Steelers have only been practicing for 5 days. There's 41 more days between now and the opening kickoff, which, oh my God, I can't wait. There's also the fact that Russell Wilson has been a 13-year veteran and Justin Fields is just in his 4th season, and he has yet to outplay Russell Wilson. I think at the end of the day, the Pittsburgh Steelers are viewing Justin Fields more as a developmental QB, and it's not a quarterback with a significant amount of development. You know what I mean? Justin Fields is still 25 years old, same age as Jordan Love is, 1 year older than Michael Penix is. So maybe they feel like if they have Justin Fields sitting back for a year watching Russell Wilson prepare, then he could eventually be a starting caliber QB moving into the future. And the thing is, Justin Fields isn't nearly as raw as some other developmental QBs. I mean, if you take a look at what the New York Jets did with Zach Wilson, I mean, he had a lot more ground that needed to be made up than what Justin Fields needs to make up. And I honestly don't think we're going to see Justin Fields play this year unless if we see a horrific showing by Russell Wilson. I mean, we're talking about a year 1 Nathaniel Hackett-like showing from Russell Wilson, which could result in Justin Fields starting. But I've been wrong about a lot of things before. Let me know, do you think Justin Fields could play his way to starting QB without even giving Russell Wilson a chance? If you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, who would you rather start, Russell Wilson or Justin Fields? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Let me know if there's any other training camp position battles you want us to cover in the comment section down below. And aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.